On this episode of The Sequence, I will show you how to chop samples boom bap style on the AKAI Force. The Sequence. What is going on, guys? So this is a highly requested video. I know a lot of you sample heads out there that are MPC or machine heads. You guys want to learn how to chop samples on this baby right here. I got fingerprints. Hold on. Is that better? Yes, I had somebody petty enough to talk about fingerprints on a touchscreen. Yeah, fingerprints will be on it. Anyways, the AKAI Force is pretty dope when it comes to chopping samples, and I want to show you how to do so. I will have a playlist at the top right of the screen and in the description box for all of my AKAI Force stuff. So bear with me as I will come with more content daily, so request it in the comment section. Let's begin. So here we are with the AKAI Force. Let's start an empty project. Let's begin from there. I'm gonna go ahead and delete these tracks so we have nothing here. And I'm also gonna show you, because we're gonna sample some vinyl first, and which is plugged up via the XLR and 1/4" combo jacks that you have on the back of your AKAI Force. And yeah, so the sample that we're gonna use is from Knick Knack Sound Craftsman 2. So I have a link in the description box just in case you want to use it. The reason why is because it's copyright friendly and I don't want any copyright claims of any type. You know, this is what I do for a living. So I'm going to hit the plus sign here and we're going to select a drum track. So once we select this drum track, we can begin the process and go into menu. Then from menu, you're gonna hit sampler, and here we are, and you can see a couple of things right now, which I'll tell you about. So from the beginning of the UI up here at the top, left part, you have input 1 or 2. You can choose either input 1 or input 2 since they're both plugged up. I just choose input 1. You can choose to have a stereo file or a mono file. I'm gonna go with stereo for this. I don't know why, but I'm just gonna go with stereo even though I'm using input 1. You can also insert effects too as well, and it will process itself as you're recording the sample. So if you have any ideas or cool things you want to do, you can do that through the sampler, and you can also monitor it. You can hear that my vocals are a little loud. And what this is right here is a threshold marker. So what I'm gonna do is press this arm button, because that's how you record, this arm button right here. So let's begin that. And I'm gonna start talk, and this is how you would basically sample if you wanted to sample. Once I hit stop, I can play it back, so you can play back what you sampled. And I'm gonna start talk, and this is how you would basically sample if you wanted to sample. Yeah, I know that the vocals are a little bit too loud, so yeah, you wanna be mindful of your levels, but what I wanna do is show you that you can discard or keep if you wanna keep that, or edit, and I'll show you all that a little later. So I'm gonna go ahead and discard that because I don't want that. What I wanna do is go to this next feature right here where you can set the max length. So it's by default it's on 20 seconds. You can adjust it with the data wheel right over here. So make sure that you use that data wheel, and we'll talk about that a little later too as well. So let's begin by sampling. All right, so now that we have that sample, it says drum track number 1 and so forth. So what I'm gonna do here is go to edit, because you can, do other things too as well. And I do apologize for it being a little bit too bright. That's just my setup for what it is. So now we can go into different things. You can go into different processes from the trim window, and you hit process here. I can discard anything if I want to discard something. So you have other things too as well. You can just use your data wheel. You can delete, and discarding works from anything outside of your start and end point, which I'll show you in a second here. And it also tells you on the screen, delete, silence, extract if you want to extract the sample into a new sample, normalize, reverse, fade in, fade out, pitch shift, time stretch, gain change, so forth and so forth. It seems like it has a little bit more features than the MPC series for some reason. I don't know. I might have to go back and look. But either way, I'm going to go and cancel it right now. And I'm going to mess with the start and end points right over here. and you'll see that right there. I'm gonna go mess with that, and let's turn that off, and boom, because we don't need all the sample. Let's go into process here and hit do it. Since it's on this card, do it. Now we can move on to chopping. So how do we chop our samples? Because that's gonna flip everybody out. Well, you hit this button right here and it will say sample edit pad mode. And now you can do your manual chops and add them into each and every one of these individual pads going vertically. So let's go ahead and do that. I need to start that from the beginning here. Let's go ahead and do undo. There you go. Let's go. You also have hidden features if you hit shift, and you can hit 0 snap. So that way, if you have something right here on number 10, you can adjust the start point. Just in case you're wondering, there are other sample modes too as well. You have threshold chop, which is great for chopping up breaks or something like that. It will chop up every threshold of a transient. And then regions chopping, which will allow you to get different regions to chop, boom, just by editing in the regions, which is really fast. And then you have BPM, where you can set the bars and time division and so forth, which won't be useful on this sample here. So let's go back to manual chop. Now, last but not least, hold shift and then choose to convert. And it'll say new drum track using slices, non-destructive slices. That's what I like to do. So I'm gonna hit do it. And then we can just go back to our matrix, boom. And here we are, back in the matrix, and then hit note mode so you can have access to the samples. In 3.0.5, you can hit note mode again, and then you get more access to stuff like pitch and stuff like that. Filters, 16 levels. Next thing I need to do is find some drums, and let's go ahead and find some drums. Go get a drum track, load, go into my places here, go right into my sample folder, my SD card, and go into MPC drum programs or MPC expansions here. I think that's the one I like to use. I'm gonna use crate cuts. They're gonna simply just grab a program. I got cross paths right here, and I can just start messing with stuff from there, from that point on. And let's get some volume. Go and just set the BPM to whatever I want. I'll set the BPM a little lower. Listen to some type of account. All right, about 85. I'll go 85 this time. Go in the clip, set your clip. I'm gonna set it to a 4-bar and create new clip. All right, we got the clip open, and now I need to make sure that it's armed. So I'm gonna arm that track, and let's record it in. All right. Then, you know, just go from here. I'm gonna add a bass line, and let's go ahead and add that bass line real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a plugin, bass line, go into edit, of course, so I can get the actual bass line plugin, edit track. Let's go in here. Let's grab a bass line. It's gonna look crazy on the screen, as you can see, and you just have to deal with that and set it up. And basically that's it for sampling vinyl and using the sampling features. Now there is other ways where you can sample stuff inside of here, or grab a sample. Let's say, you know, if you had a sample that you wanted to chop up or whatever, you can do that as well. So what I'm gonna do here is go to don't save, because we're not gonna save that, and we're gonna repeat this process. And you don't need a sampler for this one. Obviously, what I'm referring to is something that is very, very normal these days, and that is using loops. So I'm going to pull up a drum program here, and I'm going to go into that drum program. I'm going to go to that screen here. I'm already in note mode. So what I need to do is load up a sample. So going into places here and pressing load and going into places or whatever folder that you have, we could just grab a sample, and then let's see here. I'm going to go into my samples folder here. I'm going to grab that sample, which is this right here. Let's play it again. Go into my main here, stop the sample, and go into here and go into sample edit. So I have that sample right here. Now that's in the pad, and once I have that dedicated in that pad, I can go from here, trim, you know, if I want to hear it or whatever, I can, you know, play it back. So let's go into sample here and play it. So that's how you audition, you know, that's how you audition it anyways. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to call it a day. Just do something real quick. You can zoom in and look and get a detailed look. I should have did that earlier, but you know. And you can just drag it into its regions. Boom. Let's go to convert and then new drum track using slices, so forth, non-destructive slices, which is the best way to do it in my opinion. And then you already have it for you. So the next thing you're gonna do is just go back into your matrix and pick out your drums, and you don't need to see all that. I'm just gonna lay it out after I pick my drums. So there you go. Here's something that I want to cover real quick. So if you are a MPC head or anything like that, you'll know that you can edit your programs. You can actually do it in menus on the MPC, but you cannot do that on the AKAI Force. What you need to do is go to edit, hold this edit button down, and then select the track, go into your master or whatever track that you want to pitch up and down after the fact, and you can set the semitones. All right, so from here, you know, you could just mix your track down, you know, turn samples up, turn samples down. You know, this is how you mix your tracks right here. These different encoders right here, you can mix your tracks no matter what screen you're on, unless you do other things in 3.0.5. Yeah, so, well, one more thing. So, you know, this doesn't have much to do with sampling, but, you know, people will ask this. So hold select and select your track or whatever. You know, if you want to select a track, you can go and you can mix your drums this way, just letting you know. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play. You just scroll. So if you want to set your drums up for success or anything like that, then that's how you would do it. So tell me how you feel about this video. Yeah. This baby can chop up samples. There's a lot that this thing can do. And yeah, I also seen that it's been sold out almost in every store ever since that 3.0.5 update. I really hate that damn number. But other than that though, strong tool. Just let me know how you feel about it in the comment section and what you want next.